Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over everything that I've made in my first year of knitting. Some context here. 15 years ago, I wanted to learn how to knit, but I found that it was too difficult for me, and I came across crocheting and I was like, oh, what's this? So I started crocheting and I made tops and like bikini tops and stuff like that. Yeah, that was like 15 years ago at this point. Fast forward 15 years later, last year I saw the Miu Miu crochet handbag and I was like, wow, I really want to make that, but I really want that bag, but I don't want to spend that much money on a bag that I could make myself. So I started making that bag and that kind of like revived my love for fiber arts in a way. I also made a fruit hammock that's actually in my kitchen right now. That was like the beginning of me wanting to make stuff with my hands again. I kept being brought back to the Will and the Gang website where they have those kits for sweaters and stuff, and I was like, wow, I love all these sweaters. Like I really would want to make one, but I don't want to buy this set. I feel like there should be a better way, you know? So I did my own research. So yeah, I went and I got the Wilkinson leg warmer pattern, which is free on their website. So you can, as far as I know, it's still free. But it's a very basic pattern. It's just 2x2 rib. I feel like if I were to try that again, I would definitely do it in the round. Definitely not pick the yarn that I picked. I just went to Joann. I found whatever yarn matched the color that matched what I wanted to make. So I wanted like a baby pink leg warmer. So I was like, yeah, whatever baby pink yarn I have. At that point in time, I wasn't that good at differentiating between fibers. Now I feel like I have a good idea of what fibers are good for what projects. Back then I was just like, okay, yarn is yarn, you know? Now as any beginner might do, like I said, I bought the wrong yarn for that project. By the time I was done with that one leg warmer that I knit flat, like I said, I don't think any amount of blocking was gonna help me because it's bad. I don't even know if I still have it. I don't know if I completely unraveled it. I'm gonna show you. I repurposed that pink yarn to make a hat for my niece. The little baby bear hat by Pernille Larson. The difference between crocheting and knitting that I realized very quickly was that knitting takes so much longer. It's literally like every piece is like a labor of love. Now, this isn't everything that I'm in the middle of making because there are so many whips. I have a video actually coming out that I'm in the middle of editing that is going to be dedicated to all the whips that I have and me organizing myself in a way where I could finish everything and not drive myself crazy because I feel like I have way too many ideas and too many things going on. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the Wilkinson leg warmer and notice how that is singular because I never got to the second one after seeing the first one. I was like, yeah, this is not how this is supposed to be. Okay, so here it is. It's 2x2. This is my first thing that I've actually knit. Obviously it wasn't good. It's not that bad for like the first thing that I've made, but it's not what it's supposed to be. And then you have the 1x1 rib at the top or whatever this is supposed to be. And I feel like I didn't do that bad of a job for this being the first thing that I've knit. I definitely learned a lot. I learned about, I was like, I didn't like this cast on. This is like the most basic cast on. I don't even know the name of it. But I think going forward from here, I started doing long tail cast on method, which looks way better when you cast things on. Yeah, this yarn was it's definitely not the yarn for it. The pattern, I think, calls for like a blown yarn. I didn't know what that was at the time, so I just picked whatever pink yarn caught my attention. I don't think I did a gauge swatch for this, so that's another thing. I'm gonna unravel this and make something else with it because I like this color. I really do. This took me so long to finish. This is one leg warmer. I honestly don't know the timeline, but I feel like it took me months to finish this. Like, this is absurd. Okay, so the next thing that I made it's not technically like with needles, but I made a hand knit blanket for one of my cousins. I had been promising her this blanket for a long time, and I finally got around to it when I went to go see her in December for her college graduation, and I finished it on that trip. I brought it with me in my suitcase, and actually I brought a giant, it was like I went there for like 3 or 4 days, and I brought it in a giant checked bag because obviously it's not going to fit anywhere else. And I finished it for her before I left. It wasn't that hard. It doesn't take, honestly, you could knit up that hand knit blanket probably in one afternoon, one evening. I actually have another one that I have to knit up for one of my sons. What I would do next time around is I would make the stitches tighter. I don't know if you can tell in these pictures, but the stitches got really loose. I think she like washed it and stuff, and it looks kind of like holy. The yarn that I use for these blankets, I think it's called Bernat Big Blanket Yarn, something like that. I got it from Joann, RIP Joann. Up next, this is my baby right here. I will say the first finished object, this actually knit up pretty fast compared to everything else that I have. I remember seeing bonnets all over, like people who knit and stuff. I went across between a bonnet and a balaclava. I wore this thing out after I made it, and I love that I made something and I love it and I wear it and it's like functional. That to me, it feels good to make something with your hands and wear it. Although somebody at work said I look like a babushka. So maybe. This yarn is I think a 50-50 alpaca wool blend. I got it from a local yarn store. It's just so soft, so nice to work with. The stitches are so even. Like I just felt this project was such a confidence booster for me. It's everything. And I can't wait to wear this again in the colder months because this really did come in handy. I'm so proud of this thing. I know for like an experienced knitter probably watching this, they're like, girl, it's just a bonnet. The only thing I don't like is I feel like alpaca, it pills. So it's looking kind of like I'm gonna have to get one of those things to depill it. But other than that, I love this thing. Next up is this Ellie bonnet by Leah Kiss Kiss Rhinestones. She is one of my favorite designers. She's one of those designers that like made me feel like knitting was cool. Like in the beginning when I was just like looking for patterns, looking for things that fit my style, I remember falling in love with that zippy cardi that she has, which I have the pattern and is one of my whips. But I love her designs. I love how like you can tell she has fun with it. And you know, they're like modern designs. You know this trend of like where everything is like a neutral color, and I love neutral colors like anybody else. But I feel like I love color more than anything. So anyway, on a tangent, this was super easy to knit and it's super light, but also very warm because of the mohair. I don't feel like it's itchy. Although, okay, I will say on my neck, because I'm very like sensitive to things touching my neck. I love this thing. This is another piece that like I wore after I made it and it boosted my confidence. And it also didn't take that long. It took longer than what a normal person would take to make this because I don't have the time. It's such a lovely little piece and I want to make a few more. I have a red mohair that I bought, and I also have this silk hair print from Lana Grossa that I also want to make something out of. I purchased this yarn from the same local yarn store that I got the green alpaca yarn for the bonnet. Up next is the Maker Maker hot water bottle cover. I made this out of Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool in 2 colors. I don't remember the colors, but this was so fast to knit up. I made this as a Christmas gift pretty quick, and I learned a new technique from it. It's like, I forget the name of it. It's a cast on where you basically, you know, it makes it into like a pouch. Yeah, that was like such a cool cast on. I was like, I didn't even know this existed. So like, it makes you excited when you learn new techniques. Okay, so the next that I also don't have with me because it's at my job. So I have this coworker who has this little bear that she puts on her desk, and I just kept looking at it and I was like, wow, that bear, like I want to make something for it. And one day when I just decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make something. And obviously if I make something, it's not gonna take that long because it's a bear. It's like a tiny little bear. So I found this pattern, the mini crop puff pattern by Geraldine Yang. Surprisingly, it fit the bear perfectly. I took measurements of the bear before I did everything. Surprisingly, I didn't have to modify the pattern or anything. The yarn that I used was Drops Flora in 2 different colors, so it gives it like that marl effect. And I am going to use the yarn for the melange sweater by Petite Knit for the junior size. My next finished object is this knitted bag pattern made by Paulina. Super cute. Has this little like halo effect on it because I used 2 strands of mohair along with like 6 other yarns. It knit up really fast because the gauge was like super big, and you crocheted like the edges to make it look super neat. Very cute, very sturdy. I love this bag. I kept getting ads for this bag, so I was like, I really want to make it, and I bought the pattern, and I was like, okay, I feel like this is something that wouldn't take me that long, and it didn't take me that long, thankfully. And I used yarn from Joann's, and then I used some of the silk hair print that I got from that local yarn store. So it has that little halo effect that I was talking about. I don't know how people would feel about this color combo, but I like it because I really like these kind of colors. I love earth tone colors, as you can tell. Up next, I made these yoga socks by Hilky Bus on Ravelry. These are the first socks I have ever made. I made these for a friend. They were supposed to be for her birthday. That was like 2 months ago, but it just took me so long to finish these socks. And I tried to like keep, you know what I mean? It was for her birthday, and I still haven't given them to her because I'm working on something else that I'm also going to give to her with this. I'm going to mention later on in this video. I got these wire hangers and I made my own sock blockers out of them. And they're not perfect, but they did the job because I blocked these socks with them. I know this might not seem like a lot of stuff, but man, I feel like I learned so much in this last year. It's just insane. And the last finished object. I feel like there was something else that I've made, but I think it's because I've worked on so many whips that I feel like I've made things. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I've started so many things and gotten like halfway or like a quarter of the way done where I feel like, wow, I made something, but it's just not done yet. So I made La Rosa belt by Earth by Morg. It's supposed to be a belt. I wanted it as a headband. It's super cute. I knit it up in like an evening, like it took not long at all. And that's like my whole thing that I kept saying about crochet, that it doesn't take long. I really enjoyed making this. It was a good break from knitting. I'll say that for sure. And then I have some honorable mentions that aren't done, but they're almost there. I decided to mention them because I feel like I learned so much from these projects. The Baby Bear Bonnet by Pernille Larsen. So this is the yarn that I use for that leg warmer. I've just been repurposing it. It does this thing where it just like one leg looks different than the other. Learned a lot about German short rows with these projects. I felt so lost making this, the brown version actually. This one's almost done, like actually almost done. I don't know why I didn't finish it. Literally it's done. Like the I-cord, that's all that's missing, the I-cord from this end. I did not follow the gauge for this whatsoever. I definitely messed up on the short rows in the back. I need to do the Kitchener stitch for the ears, but I feel like my son will be able to wear this. I don't remember what size needles I used for this. Hopefully I wrote it down somewhere. This pattern confused the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I got so frustrated. I remember I was doing this while I was in Georgia too after I finished the blanket. I was so angry because I couldn't figure this out. But I'm glad I did because it's such a nice hat. These are the two hats that I should finish. I don't think my niece is gonna fit this hat once I finish it. Maybe she will. Another honorable mention. It's not like I learned much from this, but it's almost done. We're getting there. This is a yoga mat bag. So basically you work this up and it's supposed to be 100% wool so you can felt it later. This is going to be felted. This has knit up pretty fast, but like I said, I don't have the time. I'll show you where I got that pattern from. When I first started knitting, I bought a whole bunch of books on thrift books. This was one of the books that I got. It's Last Minute Knitted Gifts by Joelle Hooverson. I'm pretty sure she's the person that owns Pearl Soho. Look at how cute this is. I think I'm going to make this. Oh, and leg warmers are so cute. Along with the yoga socks, I was gonna gift my friend one of these felted yoga mat bag. Obviously, I didn't have any of these colors, but we'll have to do with what we have. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hopefully this is recorded fine because if not, I'm gonna lose my shit.